Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. The Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news, and Dolores County Broadcasting Network provides the support for DCTV.
The News at Noon program assembles the best and most interesting news from the area and provides local weather for the Four Corners region. Give us a call with news tips or topics you'd like to see covered. The number is 677-4119.
Monday's news is live here at noon, rebroadcast at 2:30 and 8, and rerun on Thursday at noon, 2:30 and 8. Today is October 10th, 2016. Now, here's the news. Friday, October 7th, was the official groundbreaking ceremony here in Dove Creek for the new Senior and Community Service Center and County Shop. Nita Perkett had been working on this project for the past 20 years and is thrilled to see it finally hit the dirt-moving stage. While Commissioner Doug Stowe noted it almost came to reality in 2008, but with the economic disasters of the time, it had taken another 8 years to move the building project to this phase. Commissioner Julie Kibble also spoke to the great determination of the county members to finally make this a reality. All three commissioners were present for the ceremony, and our third commissioner, Ernie Williams, spoke about the new shop building, which also will house the emergency services, and the unique opportunity to accept a $2 million DOLA grant to accomplish that project without raising taxes. The local Colorado State Department of Local Affairs representative was on hand to congratulate the county for all those who contributed to these two projects. Special Project Manager Margaret Daves recognized Ketter Project Management and Consulting of Durango as the owner's rep for the project. Tracy Reynolds was the architect, and Nunn Construction was the main contractor. Nunn is still soliciting for interested parties and local subcontractors to bid on the work. With over 100 people in attendance on a gorgeous fall morning, a significant portion of which were the local senior citizen community, it was finally time for the ceremonial shoveling of the dirt pile with golden painted shovels. After all the officials involved took part in photo ops, the seniors and any other community members were welcome to partake. Directly following the ceremony, a community lunch was shared at the Weber Community Park Center Hall. We'll look forward to covering the project as the construction progresses towards a grand opening in 2017.
According to the Cortez Journal, Daniel Sopunik was found guilty Thursday on 3 felony counts of sexual assault in Dolores District Court after a July 2015 incident at the exclusive Dunton Hot Springs Resort. Sopunik, 32, was convicted of sexually assaulting a woman, then 18, multiple times between April to July 2015. The woman was asleep during the assaults, which occurred in staff housing at Dunton Hot Springs, prosecutors said. He also was accused of taking more than 140 photos and 2 videos of the assaults, which the woman discovered on Sopunik's phone on July 12, 2015. According to testimony, Sopunik worked as a chef at Dunton Hot Springs while the woman was a front-of-house worker, and they were in an intimate relationship at the time. Dunton Hot Springs is a destination resort of cabins set in a former ghost town in the San Juan National Forest, about 35 miles northeast of Dolores, Colorado. A 13-member jury returned the guilty verdict after a 4-day trial last week here in Dove Creek, with District Court Judge Todd Plew presiding. A jury was selected on Monday, evidence was presented Tuesday and Wednesday, and attorneys made closing arguments Thursday before the jury deliberated for about 3 hours. A sentencing hearing is set for 11 a.m. December 16th in Dove Creek. Generally, a conviction of Class 4 sexual assault carries a prison term of 4 to 12 years, a fine of $2,000 to $500,000, and a parole term of 3 years. However, the court could issue a lighter sentence.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, the Colorado Department of Transportation and Contractor Structures, Inc. will begin construction on Colorado Highway 184 on October 17th, next Monday, to replace the Narragansett Canal Bridge. The project, north of Cortez and between Lewis and Dolores, is about a mile east of U.S. Highway 491. It is expected to be completed by the end of November. CDOT and Structures, Inc. will remove the existing narrow and deteriorating timber structure and replace the structure with a concrete box culvert, install a new guardrail, and add a new approach to the structure. Motorists can expect brief delays with 1 lane of alternative traffic during working hours, with both lanes open at night. For 1 week, from October 24th through the 30th, Colorado 184 will be closed at the bridge with construction crews working around the clock 7 days a week. Local residents within the work zone will always have access to their property. CDOT crews will also be replacing a culvert on Colorado 184 about a quarter of a mile east of US 491. The maintenance operation is expected to last 3 days. During this one-week closure, drivers should avoid the bridge and consider a southern route through Cortez. Traffic heading east on Colorado 184 from US 491 can detour south to US 160 in Cortez and head north on Colorado 145 towards Dolores. All through traffic heading west on Colorado 184 from Colorado 145 can detour south to US 160 in Cortez and head north on US 491 towards Lewis. After the week-long closure, brief delays with one-lane alternating traffic will resume. Drivers are asked to obey all speed limit reductions from 55 to 45 miles per hour and construction road signs during the life of the project.
According to the Cortez Journal, police are warning residents to protect themselves from a spate of locker room thefts that have occurred at rec centers in Durango, Ignacio, and Farmington. The thefts started in early July in the men's locker room at the Durango Community Recreation Center, said Lieutenant Jacob Dunlop of the Durango Police Department. Fewer than 6 thefts were reported in Durango before Jacob Flores, 24, was arrested in late September in connection with some of the thefts, Dunlop said. Flores of Durango is suspected of bypassing padlocks on lockers, stealing valuables, and using credit cards to purchase gift cards at Walmart and Walgreens, Dunlop said. Similar activity has been reported in Ignacio and Farmington. Dunlop recommends residents avoid bringing valuables into locker rooms, leaving them at home or in cars if possible. Anyone who is a victim of a locker room theft is asked to call Detective Chris Thompson at 375-4732. Anyone with information about people committing these crimes can call Crime Stoppers at 247-1112.
The increase in Colorado tourism overall is being attributed to a national campaign, according to a report in the Cortez Journal. The Colorado Tourism Office credits its national marketing campaign for a 34.2% increase in overall traveler spending in 2015 and an increase in spending from visitors outside the West. The share of traveler spending from nearby western states dropped from 71% in 2011 to 60% in 2015 as the Tourism Office expanded its marketing footprint nationwide. Notably, the most dramatic increases came from travelers from the Pacific states, where contribution to Colorado's traveler spending grew from 9% in 2011 to 14% in 2015, and from the Northeast, which increased from 5 to 8%. Kathy Ritter is the director of the Colorado Tourism Office. She said these shifts in traveler behavior not only infused new dollars into Colorado's business economy, but generated significant increases in state and local tax revenues. In 2015, Colorado set all-time records, welcoming 77.7 million visitors to the state, who spent $19.1 billion and generated $1.13 billion in tax revenue. The findings are part of a preliminary report from an 8-month initiative to develop a strategic plan known as the Colorado Tourism Roadmap. The office plans to share the findings in public meetings held October 11th through the 14th and on November 3rd in selected cities statewide. The Tourism Office kicked off the planning process in June with an initial round of 8 listening sessions. Those findings, along with additional research, have been compiled into a State of the Industry report by a consortium of planners led by Nichols Tourism Group of Bellingham, Washington. Other major findings to date include Colorado can become destination architects by creating destination drivers to attract targeted high-value travel segments. Direct travel spending growth over the past 5 years has been most significant in the Denver and Mountain Resort regions, even though many of the state's top attractions are not located in those areas. The office said that it plans to focus on regions that would benefit from increased traveler activity. Low-cost initiatives to encourage Coloradans to explore their own state could benefit less traveled areas and offset states' efforts to lure Colorado travelers. Residents from Wyoming, Nebraska, and New Mexico are more likely to visit Colorado than residents from other states. In its second round of listening sessions, the CTO's strategic planning team will seek public input into these major findings to lay the groundwork for developing the full strategic plan, which is set for a vote before the Colorado Tourism Board in January of 2017.
According to the Durango Herald, an inmate housed at a juvenile detention center in Durango set a pile of papers, clothes, and sheets on fire Friday night, causing the fire alarm to sound and requiring the relocation of students to another part of the facility. The incident was reported at 9:27 p.m. at the Robert E. Denier Youth Services Center at 720 Turner Drive in Bodo Industrial Park. A female student used a lighter to set the pile on fire in her room, said Steve Harris with Durango Fire Protection District. Staff immediately noticed the fire, removed the girl from her cell, and doused the blaze with a fire extinguisher. No one was injured in the fire. A wall was singed, but damage was minimal, Harris said. Staff did a great job of reacting, he said. That facility takes great pride in doing a really great job. They usually have no fire code violations. Karen Murray, program director at Denier, characterized it as an act of vandalism in a news release to the Herald. Officials are investigating how a lighter may have been smuggled into the secure facility, she said. Most important is that all students and staff are safe and no one was injured and there is no damage to the facility. The Durango Police Department is investigating and will turn over its findings to the 6th Judicial District Attorney's Office for possible charges against the girl. And now here's our weather report.
Regional satellite data shows we are mostly clear in the Four Corners, with cloud coverage and rains potentially moving in on the tail of the stream of weather crossing Nevada and Utah at this time. Nationally, the big storm threat on the East Coast has moved offshore for now as they recuperate from the heavy rains and a high-pressure system clears out much of the eastern U.S. The low-pressure front that is staying north of Colorado draws the line of demarcation for much of the rain and snow activity up into the Pacific Northwest, while the rest of the country shows potential for scattered rain and storms. Our 5-day forecast for DCTV, the outlook is looking forward to a warming trend for the week. For the rest of today in the Four Corners region, NOAA is forecasting isolated showers after 5 p.m. Mostly sunny with a high near 69, south-southwest winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, and the chance of precipitation is 10%. Tonight, more potential for isolated showers, mostly cloudy with a balmy low around 46. South-southeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour with a chance of precipitation at 10%. On to Tuesday with a 20% chance of showers possible. Mostly cloudy with a high near 68, south-southeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour becoming southwest in the afternoon. And for the night, a 10% chance of showers before midnight. Partly cloudy with a low around 42. Southwest 5 to 10 miles an hour winds becoming light and variable in the evening. On to Wednesday, it will be sunny with a high near 68, calm winds becoming southwest around just 5 miles per hour in the afternoon. Partly cloudy overnight with a low around 40. Into the rest of the week and weekend, the DCTV forecast shows a flush of mostly sunny daytime high temps in the upper 60s and 70s and lows above freezing in the mid-30s depending on cloud coverage. And now, back to the news, Kelsey.
According to the Durango Herald, state lawmakers this year referred a ballot question to voters that would eliminate property taxes for individuals or businesses that use government-owned property for a private benefit. The effort would exempt a possessory interest, which is created when an individual or business uses government-owned land or equipment for private purposes. Examples include ranchers who lease land from the government for cattle grazing or a rafting company that leases public land. The financial benefit that a business or individual obtains from using that land or equipment is not tax exempt. The ballot question reads, shall there be an amendment to the Colorado Constitution concerning an exemption from property taxation for a possessory interest in real property if the actual value of the interest is less than or equal to $6,000 or such amount adjusted for inflation? Beginning in tax year 2018, the ballot question would eliminate property taxes worth $6,000 or less in market value. Beginning in tax year 2019, it would also adjust the $6,000 exemption threshold to account for inflation. The proposal would exempt approximately 5,100 of the 7,000 possessory interests in the state. In total, the interests pay about $125,000 in property taxes annually, or about $24 each on average. A yes vote on the measure, Amendment U, on the ballot would create the exemption. A no vote would maintain property taxes on government-owned property being used for private benefit. The question was referred by the legislature with only 6 lawmakers opposing it.
The annual Brewfest held in Denver has grown the event and surrounding Oktoberfest activities to become quite the destination this time of year. Reported in the Durango Herald, 3 Durango breweries took medals home from the Great American Beer Festival competition on Saturday. Steamworks Brewing Company, Carver Brewing Company, and Ska Brewing each were awarded for craft beers entered in the growing and competitive competition. Steamworks won 2 medals, taking a silver for its Slam Dunkel in the German-style wheat ale category, as well as another silver for its Backside Stout in the oatmeal stout category. The Slam Dunkel is a German Dunkelweizen, which is a dark wheat beer. The Backside Stout is an oatmeal stout that is named after the backside of Purgatory Resort in Durango. Steamworks is on a roll after winning for its steam engine lager in May at the World Beer Cup in Philadelphia, making it the best American-style amber lager in the world. Got to try that one soon. Ska Brewing won bronze for its Mexican lager. The can has a cartoon of a chainsaw-wielding Mexican lumberjack, which was reviewed in the American-style or international-style Pilsner category. The beer, a light Mexican-style lager, also won a silver medal last year in the same category. Carver Brewing won a silver medal for its Leitner Creek Lager, a German-style light lager that is a mainstay for the brewery. It was the first time the brewery entered the lager into the GABF competition, which was submitted in the American-style light lager or German-style light lager category. All 3 breweries entered 5 beers each into the competition. Also competing was Durango Brewing Company, though it did not win any medals this year. With 379,000 square feet in the tasting hall at the Colorado Convention Center, 60,000 attendees had the opportunity to sample 3,800 beers from more than 800 breweries. During the awards ceremony at the Colorado Convention Center, Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper presented a surprise award to GABF founder and beer guru Charlie Papazian to honor him after 35 years of service to the beer and Colorado communities. Hickenlooper is a co-founder of Wine Coop Brewing Company in Denver, which became the city's first craft brewery. There's no one that all of us owe more to than Charlie Papazian, the governor said, while a large gold medal was placed around Papazian's neck to thunderous applause. Ninkashi, the goddess of Sumerian times, credited with brewing the first beer, would be proud.
According to the Cortez Journal, a Colorado woman who completed a nearly 82-mile swim across Lake Powell in 56 hours said Friday the vast distance wasn't her biggest fear. "I wasn't concerned about the distance. I had trained and worked for that part," Sarah Thomas told the Associated Press a day after completing what is believed to be a record-breaking marathon swim. But how do you stay awake for that long? Thomas, who was still in bed after sleeping nearly 12 hours, said she credits the little bit of caffeine in the liquid carbohydrate and electrolyte mixtures she consumed every 30 minutes during the swim. The 34-year-old from Conifer didn't stop swimming or get out of the water for the entire time, allowing her to qualify for a possible record for an unassisted marathon swim. She had a team of 13 people with her who traveled by houseboat and gave her food every half hour in the form of a water bottle tied to a cord. Thomas had done 6 major marathon swims since 2010, including efforts in Lake Tahoe and the English Channel, but none were as long as her journey on Lake Powell along the Arizona-Utah border. She initially planned to swim in the ocean off the California coast, but decided a lake might be better and began a search for the right one. "There are not a lot of lakes that are big enough and logistically make sense," she said. She chose Lake Powell for its amenities and proximity to Colorado. Her training consisted of at least 25 hours of swimming each week since April. At the peak, she averaged 50 miles a week. She said she was able to commit the time to training partly due to being able to work from home in her job as a hospital recruiter. The San Francisco-based Marathon Swimmers Federation will have the task of verifying Thomas's swim.
2 San Juan County, Utah legends were recently inducted into the Utah Cowboy Hall of Fame on July 8, 2016. Reported in the San Juan Record, Charles Redd and John Albert Scorup were inducted in the first class of emeritus members of the Hall of Fame. Charles Redd operated large ranching operations throughout the San Juan County and southwest Colorado. He was born in Bluff to Lemuel H. Redd Jr. in a log cabin with a dirt roof and a dirt floor. A biography from the Charles Redd Center for Western Studies at Brigham Young University states, His education in the School of Hard Knocks was complemented by formal training in a one-room school. In that environment, he soon showed himself to be a natural-born leader. On completion of his training in the lower grades, Charlie's parents decided to send him over 300 miles away to Provo to Brigham Young Academy, where he enrolled in high school. He was known as a leader and a pusher, participating in every activity from school plays to baseball, and in the meantime, he was learning the routines of ranching in San Juan. In 1914, he became manager of the LaSalle Livestock Company, which later was known as Red Ranches. Mr. Red has won wide recognition for his application of scientific knowledge to livestock breeding and range improvement. He insisted that his livestock be more productive and efficient and well adapted to the often dry and rough ranges in southeastern Utah. Through extensive brush eradication and grass planting, Mr. Red increased the capacity 10 times of some of his rangeland. In 1946, the Record Stockman magazine selected him as Man of the Year in Livestock. Among other positions, he was director of the Cowboy Hall of Fame, the Utah Historical Heritage Foundation, Utah Power and Light, and Amalgamated Sugar. He was awarded the Honorary Order of the British Empire by Queen Elizabeth II in recognition of his long years of business and social contact in the interest of fostering Anglo-American friendship. Charles Red married Annalay Nagel in 1931, and they were the parents of 9 children. He passed away in 1975. Red helped establish the Charles Red Center for Western Studies at Brigham Young University, which is the academic home of the Lemuel H. Red Chair in Western History. Albert Skorup was a ranching legend throughout southern Utah. A native of Salina, Utah, Skorup came to San Juan County as a young man in 1891, soon after the original settlers arrived. For the next 68 years, until his death in 1959, Skorup's name became synonymous with the cattle industry in southern Utah. Al Skorup headquartered his expansive ranching operations in San Juan County, with his family removed from the day-to-day ranch operations in a beautiful home in Bluff. The family, which included 6 daughters, eventually moved to Provo for the good schools there. Skorup began operations in the White Canyon and Wooden Shoe areas and steadily expanded to the north. He briefly sold his operation in White Canyon to Jacob Adams and returned to the Salina area. However, Skorup returned to San Juan County shortly thereafter when the Indian Creek Cattle Company was put up for sale. He joined with Bill and Andrew Somerville and Jacob Adams to create the Skorup-Somerville Cattle Company, with headquarters at the Dugout Ranch. Skorup's operation controlled all cattle grazing areas in western San Juan County, from Grand Gulch in the east to the Colorado River on the west, and from the San Juan River on the south to Hatchwash on the north. Skorup is also honored as a member of the Cowboy Hall of Fame in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. The Hall of Fame is part of the Utah Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in Ogden, Utah. The museum is always looking for contributions and donations of historical artifacts.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of October 3rd through the 9th. A deputy responded to a report from a Rico resident of a person who has yet to return a vehicle lent out. A county resident requested assistance with a juvenile. A motorcycle versus deer accident was reported on Highway 145. Rico Rescue and Colorado State Patrol responded. That's it for today's Roundup. Stay tuned tomorrow for more updates.
In Monday's Marijuana Moment, the Cannabis.co takes an interesting look into the burgeoning business of cannabis and talks with the members of the Shark Tank investment show to find out how they are weighing in on the business end of investment in the evolving industry. Is this a good time to get into the legal marijuana industry? That's the question an editor from Entrepreneur.com recently posed to 5 of the wealthy, high-profile entrepreneurs who appear on the popular ABC reality program Shark Tank. Helps everyday folks develop their business ideas. And not surprisingly, given the wide range of strong personalities that appear on the program, there were a wide range of answers. Canadian businessman, investor, and venture capitalist Kevin O'Leary tells Entrepreneur, "I would love to invest in the marijuana industry, but my lawyers tell me I can't because we need a better mandate." He compares the legalization of marijuana to the end of Prohibition 83 years ago. It's going to be a remarkable opportunity, he adds, predicting that when, not if, California fully legalizes cannabis, the floodgates will open. While not a cannabis consumer herself, real estate mogul Barbara Corcoran says she sees legal marijuana's huge financial potential. "My advice to entrepreneurs looking to enter the marijuana business is to be early in their market," she says, because this is a market that's expanding like crazy. But she also says she believes it might take a while before the cultural taboos surrounding cannabis fade away for much of the general population. What's going to destigmatize marijuana is having the old people die off, she continues. Anyone who's under 30 believes in it. Technology and innovator Robert Herjavec, meanwhile, says he has no problem with marijuana legalization, but that in terms of cannabis as a business trend, it's already too late for new investors. And he illustrates his thought with a paraphrased quote from hockey great Wayne Gretzky: "Don't go where the puck is, go where the puck's about to be." That being said, Herjavec admits he doesn't know or understand the legal cannabis industry enough to invest in it. Outspoken billionaire Mark Cuban isn't going to venture into legal weed. Would I invest in the cannabis industry? No, he says. Not because I have anything against pot. I don't care. But right now, it's a gold rush. The Dallas Mavericks owner and media maven said he believes the legal marijuana market is oversaturated, creating a financial environment with too many challenges. There's a saying that I live by, he tells Entrepreneur. First, there are the innovators, then there are the imitators, and then there are the idiots. The 3 I's. You have to know which one you are. And I think already in the cannabis industry, we've at least gotten to the imitators, and we may already be on to the idiots. Meanwhile, Lori Greiner, the inventor, investor, and so-called queen of QVC, says she's still on the fence when it comes to considering legal marijuana as a business venture. Everybody should be able to do it legally, she notes. Would I invest in it, though? I don't know. I have so many investments as it is, I don't need another one. I'll let other people deal with that because it's not that easy of a space to navigate. While Entrepreneur notes that the Disney-owned network hasn't had any aspiring entrepreneurs on the show yet, some well-known celebrity cannabis enthusiasts have made prominent appearances on other ABC shows, including Snoop Dogg's run on Celebrity Family Feud and Tommy Chong competing in Dancing with the Stars. All of the happenings and original news stories are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the embedded YouTube replays of the live show and the exclusive DCTV 5-day forecast. If you have an event, you can email us at dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station at 677-411-9, and we'll be sure to get it on air.
Thanks for tuning in. We're live at noon Monday through Wednesday, then rebroadcast at 2:30 and 8 p.m., and again aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order at noon, 2:30, and 8 p.m. each day respectively.
Please share this with a friend and watch the broadcast replayed on YouTube and now featured on the Facebook page. Thank you for liking us there and for your comments. We love to hear your voice.
For Kendra Cook and everyone at DCTV with the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. We'll be back here again tomorrow.